team. It's a great experience.
If only we could all get together. Only we could all have company. Only we could all get together. All the better off we all could be. So won't you come by, don't you?
Looking into the eyes of the families that we help and work with is really rewarding and really strikes the chords in our heart.
Little better with a little company. If only we could all get together. Only we could all have company. Only we could all.
Experience it for yourselves. You will not regret it. You will never be the same again.
We all could be.
Hopesin has made a big impact in my life.
We love Hopesin.
La honra y la gloria sean para el Señor. Gracias. Dios les bendiga.
Only we could all get together. All the better off we all could be.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jalen Fertig, and I am a senior at Barrington High School, and I'm so excited to be one of your MCs for the 9th annual Hopes in Fashion Show fundraiser. This year's theme is Hope in Style, Masquerade, Hope Disguised. We hope that throughout this program, you will be inspired by how we are discovering hope in the midst of an unprecedented year. To begin today's program, we would like to share about the creators of this fashion show, the Hopes Interns. The Hopes Interns program is for high schoolers in the Chicagoland area to engage with social impact, learn about nonprofits, and raise awareness for Hope's in twofold mission to empower families living in Guatemala City and help develop the next generation of humanitarian leaders. Each program you will learn about today strives to balance both parts of our mission. In total, we have 53 interns, 24 of whom work tirelessly to make this fashion show happen. In preparation for the fashion show, each intern championed one of Hope's in various programs to raise awareness. Right now, we are going to show a visual of all Hopes in programs and how they tie into our mission. Through championing one of Hope's in programs, the interns we are able to develop various fundraising goals that they called their impact goals. Let's hear from some of the interns now as they share about their impact goal and how they've discovered Hope Disguised during the pandemic.
Hi, I'm Talia Hines.
And my name's Sammy Suchaleki.
And we're the co-presidents of the Hopes In internship program.
We're both seniors at Barrington High School, and we've been involved with Hopes In for a few years now.
What is your name and grade?
My name is Sarah Bauernfriend, and I'm a sophomore.
What is one challenge you faced during the pandemic?
One major challenge that I faced during this pandemic was definitely not being able to experience some of the simple things that high school brings. Whether that was going to football games, homecoming, or just simple things like talking to people in the hallway is definitely something that I missed.
What is a way you saw hope disguised during the past year?
A way I saw hope disguised during this past year has definitely been simple things like whether that's having garage parties with family or just being able to have a Zoom call with your friends. Any way that we are able to have something to look forward to.
What is one way you want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala?
One way I want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala is by providing them simple things that they are able to have success with. Whether that's giving them a home, food, or just money that they can use for necessities.
How have your experiences during the pandemic made you want to empower families in Guatemala?
During this pandemic, I really realized how privileged and lucky I am to have the simple things that I do. And there are a lot of things that we took for granted that a lot of people in Guatemala don't have. So this pandemic really made me realize how much that we can help them.
And what is your impact goal for the fashion show?
My impact goal for the fashion show is to raise $500.
My name is Jacob Kirk, and I'm a sophomore at Barrington High School.
What is one challenge you faced during the pandemic?
One challenge that I faced during the pandemic was I felt very antisocial, and I lost a lot of friends during the pandemic because I couldn't see them. There was a stay-at-home order, and it was very hard to keep in contact with people.
What is one way you saw hope disguised during the past year?
Well, although we were very separate, I felt as if the communities really came together, and I felt a sense of unity in the communities, such as stuff as little as like drive-by birthday parties for people at their house when we couldn't all be together. But I felt as if we were alone, but we were still together at the same time.
What is one way you want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala?
One way that I want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala is just to provide them with a source of light and happiness that they may have not had before, and to give them new opportunities to improve their life and to just have something new.
How have your experiences during the pandemic make you want to empower families in Guatemala?
Although I know that the pandemic was very hard for a lot of people, I feel like we had it easier than a lot of other people, and we had a lot of privileges that we didn't realize. And when thinking about how it must be in Guatemala for those people, it feels like it must be very hard. So it makes me want to make their life better and do as much as I can to make that happen.
And what is your impact goal for the Fun Fashion Show?
My impact goal for the fashion show is definitely to inspire people and to raise money and to just provide a source of entertainment for people during these hard times.
What is your name and grade?
My name is Lauren Fryer and I'm a sophomore.
What is one challenge you faced during the pandemic?
One challenge I faced during the pandemic was being isolated from friends and family, as it was hard being apart from people I used to see each and every day.
What is a way you saw hope disguised during the past year?
One way I saw hope disguised during the past year was contacting some people who now are my closest friends, and I also got to spend a lot of time with family and strengthen my bond with them.
What is one way you want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala?
One way I want to unmask hope for families in Guatemala is to raise as much money as possible to help provide them shelter, medical aid, and much more to get them back on their feet.
How have your experiences during the pandemic made you want to empower families in Guatemala?
Seeing how much the pandemic has affected my life alone, I can only imagine to what extent it affected those in Guatemala, so I want to help empower and help them as much as possible.
And what is your impact goal for the fashion show?
My impact goal is to raise $500 for Hopeson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your name and grade?
My name is Devin De Leon and I'm a sophomore.
What is one challenge you faced during the pandemic?
Kind of being alone and being with the stay-at-home order. I kind of was stuck in my room like everyone else was.
What is one way you saw hope disguised during the past year?
Personally, before the pandemic, I was really insecure, but being at home with the stay-at-home order, I got to focus more on myself and become more comfortable with who I am as a person now.
What is one way you want to help unmask hope for families in Guatemala?
My goal is to raise at least $250 for the Fortaleza program because I really want to help women who are just like me get the opportunities that I know I have being privileged but that they don't have.
How has your experiences during the pandemic make you want to empower families in Guatemala?
During the pandemic, even though I didn't get to see my grandma, we would talk on the phone, and I personally did a project for my history class, and I got to learn all about her experience immigrating from Mexico to the US. And she told me all about how hard it was to live in Mexico and how she got so many more opportunities in the US. And I can understand where the families and women in Guatemala are coming from, and I don't want them to ever have to go through what my grandma had to go through.
What is your impact goal for the fashion show?
My goal is to spread awareness about the families in Guatemala and to raise at least $250 for the Fortaleza program.
Thank you all for sharing. We are so inspired by your dedication. Student-led programs and advocacy is in the very DNA of Hopes Inn. In fact, Hopes Inn was co-founded by twin sisters Courtney McGovern and Ashley Quigley as they were just juniors at Barrington High School. Joining us today is Courtney, who now works as the executive director of Hopes Inn. Courtney became the first full-time staff of the organization upon graduating from New York University in 2018, majoring in nonprofit organization management. Let's hear from Courtney now.
What memory was it for you? Was it your junior prom? Your 8th grade formal? Was it a significant birthday or trip you'd planned for years? What memory was it for you? Was it the birth of a new grandchild, a niece or nephew? A missed celebration of life? Was it just the family traditions around Thanksgiving? Or that last day of school photo you loved taking of your children? Was it suddenly just missing seeing strangers smile or paying a reasonable price for toilet paper? What memory looked so different over this past year that it kind of rocked your world, maybe broke your heart, or made you feel like something was missing? For my family and I, it was not being able to celebrate the life of my granny with relatives. It was missed visits from friends or in-laws from out of town. It's been not having my husband be able to join me for any ultrasounds or visits for our first baby. It was the first time in a decade that I hadn't gone to Guatemala in the summer. Last summer would have been our 8th annual year hosting teams to travel with us to Guatemala City, to build homes, host medical clinics, visit with our sponsor children, and see our partners there. After our fashion show on March 8th last year, we were so excited to be gearing up to build our 50th home in Zone 3 of Guatemala City. Zone 3 is home to over 13,000 people who make a living off of the city's garbage dump. They're completely or partially reliant on this landfill to build their homes out of, feed their children, and make a living. We anticipated getting to know the families that we would work alongside to build their house in the summer, saying, "Wow, look how much you've grown," to our sponsor children, asking how they were doing, visiting with their families. We dreamt of a course this past year would take because we'd always been blessed enough to take that path over the years. But everything was different. I remember throughout the spring and summer of last year checking the weather in Guatemala City, just wondering. If it was rainy, I would think about the families who got a home the previous summer. Were they thinking of us with that new roof keeping them dry? Or if it was really hot outside, I would wonder if families had enough water to stay hydrated for their long day of work in the garbage dump. I thought of my sponsor child, Monica. Was someone encouraging her to keep up with her studies even though school had gone virtual? Was someone there to hug her and tell her that she mattered and that she's important? Was she safe? Was she happy? Had she continued to dream? And these thoughts often brought tears to my eyes. They stole sleep and they filled my prayers. But as much as things had changed around us here at Hopes Inn, as they were for you too, We knew we weren't going to sit back and wait for the dust of this crazy past year to settle. No way. We wanted to be actively involved in a crisis response as the world around us shut down. That's why we gave over 195,000 meals to families in Guatemala City over the course of the pandemic. That's why we made sure to host a virtual training for the special educator that we sponsor at a children's home in Guatemala for adults with disabilities. We stepped in. We couldn't just wait and watch. We hired local masons to build a home for a family in Zone 3 and cheered over Zoom as the family entered their home once it was completed. We made sure our leader of Fortaleza, Katy Rosales, who you'll hear from later, had everything she needed to be able to check in with young girls and teenage moms that are part of our community group. In our own backyard, as students faced canceled event and activity after canceled event and activity, we innovated. We launched new courses of our Hopes in Academy, which is typically a service learning program for high schoolers. We launched a track for middle schoolers and also for young adults with disabilities in our community. We wanted to make sure that amidst everything going on in the world, young people could engage with something purposeful, hopeful, and positive. And this year, we yearn to bring back our group of 75 to 80 volunteers to Guatemala as we usually do, we won't let our inability to do so to stop us. This year, we are doubling the size of our Fortaleza program. We hope to go from 10 young girls to 20 women in our group. And in addition to educational seminars and mentorship, they will gain access to medical care, counseling, and educational scholarships. Our Hopes in Academy for young adults with disabilities will launch another session in the spring, and we will give away over $7,000 to support Guatemalan medical initiatives. We are growing our team by 300% that will train the special educator we staff at the young adults home. We will not slow down, and neither can you. We invite you to be part of our mission to empower families living in Guatemala City and help develop the next generation of humanitarian leaders. If there's anything this past year has taught us, it's that when things get canceled or postponed, life does not stop. In fact, over the last year, it seemed that the challenges in life for many were magnified. I will never forget Katy from our Fortaleza group calling me last year. She was checking in after distributing some food for our young girls, teen mothers, and their elderly neighbors. It's one of the girls, she said. She didn't look right. I was worried immediately, and though I won't share this girl's name and age because it's a very personal story, I can tell you she is a teenager. What was wrong with her, I asked. I'm not sure, said Katy, but she just seemed really off. A few weeks later, I got another call. It was the girl, and we found out she had become pregnant. Her boyfriend we knew, and he was not very nice to her. I had known this girl for many years, 9 years to be exact, and she's like family to me. I could have sworn that it was just the other day that she was in the alleyway kicking a soccer ball with me with pink glittery shoes. I cried for several hours that day. I've seen this happen to so many teenage girls as they seek out stability and love in a man who often doesn't keep his promises. But I thought she was going to have a different future than her peers. I thought maybe she'd finish high school, get a job, find a stable relationship, have a family later in life. But this was the reality, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought of how lonely she must have been, with no school to go to, no parents to care for her, just this man with false promises who had told her he'd loved her. And in the craziest twist of it all, we nearly have the same due date in late June. Remember one of those first questions that I asked you? What memory looked so different over this past year that it kind of rocked your world, maybe broke your heart? It made you feel like something was missing? Well, this was it for me. And for so many days I kicked myself. Could we have done something more for this girl? But we can't go back in time. And I know that Kati and our team will come alongside this girl with love and care as she transitions into motherhood. She will join our Fortaleza program and get the prayer, support, and encouragement she needs. No matter what changed over the last year in our lives, we are all still 365 days older. And no matter what, this coming year, we have 365 chances to show up for the youth in our community, our neighbors that are lonely, our loved ones that are making choices that will change their lives forever, or those that are in trouble and don't always have a choice. Will you commit today to either getting involved as a volunteer or giving to support our work, to show up with us each and every day? Let's not miss a single opportunity. This next year will continue to change us and mold us, but there's one thing that I'm sure of, and that is hope is it.
Thank you for sharing, Courtney. If you feel inspired to give, we encourage you to take a moment and donate now. Courtney and the Hopes Inn interns are part of a diverse volunteer community dedicated to Hopes Inn called Team Hope. Since Hopes Inn was founded, over 475 volunteers have traveled to Guatemala to work alongside families in Guatemala City. In addition, hundreds of local families and students from the Barrington area have participated in Hopes Inn leadership development programs. We thought who better to share about the Team Hope community than the very members of it themselves. Let's hear from them now.
Hi, I'm Mary Marie Conasec, and this is
Finn Karam.
And we first got involved with Hopes Inn through Courtney, and knowing her and her family, and then my daughter Colleen, and her husband Mike Hannigan. Finn's aunt and uncle went to Guatemala and built a house and came back with the excitement of what was going on and the wonderful time that they had in Guatemala. Encouraged us to participate, and we went to Guatemala as a family, going and seeing all these beautiful families who have so little and are always happy, and made us feel so welcome, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we had a wonderful time, not feeling that they were lacking anything. We learned about how lucky they are to have each other and the wonderful community that they live in.
Yeah, I found hope. All the kids there were so happy, and they were just running around and having a good time playing soccer and basketball.
Well, mine was participating, first of all, with my family. We grew, we're close, but the bond that we brought to each other through going to Guatemala, through Hopes Inn, the celebration every day of learning about the families that we had built our houses with, who were so happy and gratitude. We just loved them.
I really like spending time with my family, especially my grandparents, and it was a really good time with them to build the house.
Hi, my name is Mitch Stathakis. I got involved in Hopes Inn near the start due to my sister, actually. She was really good friends with Courtney and Ashley growing up, and I just kind of got pulled into it. Been part of a good number of projects over the years. Went to the first few mission trips to Guatemala, and through the Interact Club at BHS, I was in Hopes in Flight, of which we were able to apply for a grant that got us a bunch of money to fund a computer lab, a library, and some amazing things down in Guatemala to help support that community. And I'm hoping to go on the trip this year. Being part of Team Hope isn't just important. I think it's everything. I think it's a way you should live your life, bringing hope to others, not just those who are less fortunate, but to everyone you run into every day. If you can shed some sort of bright light in their life, whether it be through hope, it's wonderful. And I think yeah, it's just the way you should live. Oh, at the fashion show every year. If you haven't been, you should go. Some really special things happen every year, unexpectedly. You have some really generous people who show up. You have a great show that gets put on. Down in Guatemala, in the garbage dump, you find hope in places you never think you would. In the dirt with the kids who play and they have tic-tac-toe and they're smiling and jumping for joy while, you couldn't imagine living in those circumstances, and really just brings light to what hope is and how powerful it can be. By far, my favorite memory is meeting all the people over the years. Barrington and beyond has some awesome volunteers with Hopes In, and you run into those people years to come, whether that's by chance or that's through God. And you remember, and they remember you, and you have some special memories. But in terms of actually serving, I think my favorite memory was with a little boy named Anderson Juarez down in Guatemala. Really connected with him the first year I went. He came to all the soccer camps, went to his home eventually over the years, and I still keep in touch with him and his sister. There's a really special connection I have with him.
Hi, my name is Courtney Desmond, and the first time that I was involved with Hopes In was, approximately 7 years ago. My daughter Gianna and I are part of a mother-daughter service group called Barrington Service League, and Courtney actually attended one of our service meetings to share with us, the group, about Hopes In and tell us about her journey and how she'd arrived at creating this organization with her sister Ashley. And my daughter Gianna and I were really inspired. At the time, my daughter was a third grader, and we were really inspired by Courtney's story. And so after the meeting, we talked a lot about it, and we decided, we want to be a part of this. So we reached out to Courtney and shared our interest, and lo and behold, that summer we joined our first service trip. So since then, we've been to Guatemala City with Hopes In 5 years in a row. Last year, of course, canceled, and this year as well, but we're looking forward to returning the following summer. I also became a member of the board of directors with Hopes In approximately 4 years ago. So that's been another really wonderful experience to be a part of the organization in a different way, kind of behind the scenes, understand better the process for raising money and the focus areas of our organization. And my biggest focus area that I'm a part of is called the Fortaleza Group. And the Fortaleza Group is this wonderful group of women and young girls in Guatemala City that are either high risk or young mothers. And it's been a true wonderful experience for myself and for my daughter Gianna to get to know these young women and learn about all of the experiences that have brought them to where they are in their lives, and really partner with them to come up with an approach and a plan to offer them future opportunities outside the garbage dump community, specifically around education and the focus for bringing a better future to themselves and their families. So being a part of Team Hope has been really important to myself and my daughter. It's actually been a wonderful experience for us to grow together. We've had these really amazing life experiences learning about the organization, but also visiting the communities in Guatemala City, meeting the families, and learning about a different way of life and a different living. And it has really brought, I think, us together in a different way than we would have without this wonderful organization. And it's offered us the opportunity to have discussions that we typically wouldn't have had, So being part of this really great community and having access to a lot, it's easy to forget about how people in other parts of the world, especially in areas of the world that are really suffering, how they live. And the experience of meeting some of these people and just getting to know them and working alongside of them has made a tremendous impact on both myself and my daughter.
My name is Gianna Coyer, and I first got involved 4 years ago. I'm in a service group, and we got Hopeson got presented to us, so my mom decided to take me on the trip. It's important to me because I've gone a lot, and I've met a lot of people living in the community, and so it's something that I'm passionate about. Well, a lot of people assume that when you're living in really tough conditions, a lot of people wouldn't be as hopeful, but I kind of found that the opposite is true, which is kind of weird, but the people living there are some of the most hopeful and optimistic people I've met, which is really inspiring. Well, my family sponsors this girl named Giselle for her school, and every year when we go on the trip, we get to take her out to eat, and we swim in the pool at our hotel, and it's really fun to catch up with her because she's just a really sweet girl, and it's
What's your first name?
Matthew Rogers.
Matt? Matt Rogers. I'm his dad, Lance. Did you get contacted by Matt's wearing his Homecoming King jacket. He was contacted by the Homecoming Queen, Tally Cotel, and her mom, that they were involved in the project, and they figured if the Queen is doing it, the King should do it too, so he got involved. What did you do with Guatemala? I think he did greeting cards and pictures for the kids down there. And they used that to raise the money because they needed for food and shelter. Is that what happened? Did you do that? And you met with the boys and guys and you were here? And you did it at the other place. Do you like to do it? Because I was talking to Matt on the way here, it's what Jesus says, to help people that don't have the same things that we have, and we can share with them. And it also creates a connection around the world. Oh, that remembers when you say Hopes in Style, Matt was in their fashion show years ago, and he won it. He was in the fashion show, and he got the recognition for being the best model. And from doing that, it shows that you can have style and help people at the same time.
That's crazy.
Can you do that? Do you have style? That's great. He had activities where he could help people and be involved because he's finished school and there's nothing for him out there. And along comes Courtney Quigley, who remember what a great job he did in the fashion show. And then he came back and he's able to be socialized and do arts and crafts and all the things he needs to do to develop his skills, which we wouldn't have without Hope's In.
Wow, wherever you are and whoever you are with, let's give it up for a Team Hope. I have so enjoyed walking you through so many incredible stories. Thank you for allowing me to help you host at Hopes in Style this year. I'd like to now pass the baton to my co-host, Jessica Shimp.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Shimp and I'm a senior at BHS. I'm so happy to host the second part of our program today. Thus far, you've heard from some amazing people about the work that Hopeson does. Now is the time where we want to invite you to support the story of hope and empowerment. Take a moment to look over our silent auction items, Tiffany necklace raffle tickets, and our students' impact goals. These can all be found on the Hopeson Style Better Unite site where you purchase your tickets. As you've learned, Team Hope has a strong community here and a commitment to empowering families in Guatemala and helping to develop the next generation of humanitarian leaders. But Team Hope is also in Guatemala. Let's take a moment to hear from one of our team members, Cady Rosales, about her leadership in the Fortaleza program.
In 2019, I was looking to create a safe and transparent community for teenage mothers and at-risk teenagers so that they could get together, share their experiences, and support each other constantly.
I didn't know how to take care of a baby. They're teaching me how to raise him, how to feed him, that I shouldn't abandon him. When I need the girls, they're there. They've helped me to talk to my baby about Jesus Christ.
I've met beautiful people. They've taught me to be a better mom. How to take care of myself as a woman, and everything I'm learning, I'll teach to my daughter. My Saturdays will be boring and I wouldn't have friends.
We also share with the girls who aren't yet moms, and they have seen how difficult it is to care for young children. And we hope that the girls follow our advice, because having a baby is not a bad thing in our lives, but there's a better time in their lives to start a family.
The program for me is very important because the girls are very important to me. The fact that I grew up in the same community as them has helped me put myself in their shoes many times. I know what it's like to grow up without a father. I know what it's like to feel scared about the future. I also know what it's like to feel lonely and misunderstood. During this year that we have shared with the girls, we have identified different needs for them and for their families. One of the main ones is education. Many of the teenage mothers did not finish high school. Another need that we have identified is their mental health. Many of the girls have experienced different trauma in their childhood, and the fact that they are now teenagers complicates the challenges they face. And for those who are mothers, things are even more complicated. My hope is that people passionate about serving can holistically support the girls at Fortaleza in their education and their mental health. I hope the girls will fully understand the love of Christ and His sacrifice, and that He is enough. And because of this, they can achieve their dreams, work hard, support each other, and impact their communities.
Hello everyone, my name is Kathy Rosales and I want to tell you about Fortaleza. We are serving young mothers and at-risk teenagers in Zone 3 of Guatemala City. We are looking forward to this year as we continue to serve, mentor, and seek opportunities for Fortaleza women. Our 4 main goals for this year are mentorship, mental health, physical health, and education and trade. This year, we are expecting to grow our impact by doubling the number of the women we serve from 10 to 20 at the end of this year. As we do so, I would love to ask you to keep praying for us and for the future women of Fortaleza. And I also wanted to take this time to thank you so much for the support and dedication. You are making this possible.
Katie, you're amazing. We hope today can raise all the funds needed so that you can be equipped to keep up the great work. Now, I'd like to invite Kate Winkleman and Abby Whitaker to kick off our fashion show portion of the program.
Hello to everyone watching at home. My name is Kate Winkleman and I am an intern for Hope's Inn. Today's runway was made possible because of the incredible models and stylists who put so much effort into their outfits today. Make sure to cheer them on from home.
Yes, Kate, our models and stylists have put together some incredible outfits that we cannot wait to share with you all. My name is Abby Whitaker and I'm also an intern for Hope's Inn. We have many teams today, but it's up to you guys to decide which are your favorites. In order to vote for your favorite model and stylist, all you have to do is donate $1 to the team you want to win.
To find your favorite team and make your donation for them, all you have to do is go on the Hope's Inn Better Unite website. Again, that is the Hope's Inn Better Unite website. A $1 donation equals a vote for your favorite team, and the team with the most votes will win a prize. All the donation will go towards Hope's Inn efforts to empower impoverished families in Guatemala City. And it's a super easy way to show your support for your favorite models and stylists.
That's right, Kate, so don't forget to vote for your favorite teams. And without any further ado, let's give a big round of applause to all of our models and stylists.
All right, what do you say? Are you ready to put Hope on the runway? Let the show begin.
1 year ago, we couldn't have known what awaited us just days after Hope's in style, when the crowd that had gathered enjoyed the fashion show and scattered. On to the remainder of their day, everything changed. Everything changed, and it seemed like nothing would ever be the same. The pandemic turned things upside down. Our world, our country, our town. Our proms, dances, graduations, and events got canceled. There was no hugging, no chatting at lunch tables, no hands to hold. We were distanced, kept apart, 6 feet, but not at heart. We grew in love for quality time, for standing in line, for concerts, events, and parties. We yearned to be together, but everything changed, and it seemed like nothing would ever be the same. But as things closed down, a disguised hope could be found. You see, we started to notice the importance of community, of strength, of love, of unity. We cheered each other on through virtual graduations, birthday parties, and even marathons. We learned to appreciate everything we had because others in different parts of the world circumstances made us sad. Where we work in Guatemala, the communities were impacted. Our heart's attention and efforts their situations attracted. Because when things shut down, not too many people that could help were to be found. Their community water source became overworked, leaving barely any water for drinking, bathing, cooking, especially tough for those families whose floors were often made of dirt. They could not work in the garbage dump for weeks on end, leaving them unable to afford to feed their families, so it was food we would send.
During the pandemic, we donated over 195,840 meals to every family we had ever built a home for, the elderly, the single teenage mothers. And this was just the start to us spinning our wheels. We created and distributed 80 educational pamphlets for at-risk girls to keep themselves out of harm's way, because they were no longer seeing teachers, mentors, or coaches to say, "I need help, I am in trouble." Our Inclusion Alliance volunteers created virtual trainings for a Guatemalan special education teacher and her staff. Together, we're paving a way for dignified education. Together, we are blazing a path. Our summer volunteer teams couldn't travel to Guatemala because of COVID-19, but there was still hope disguised that started to be seen. A home was built by Hope Sin using local masons. A family's dream came true when they got a new home, new roof to block them from the rain, dust, and sun. Now, this year, we continue to innovate, to empower families in Guatemala because hope is never too late. Our support group for teenage moms will double in size. The girls will gain counseling, medical support, educational scholarships from a mentor named Katie, who is quite wise. We will give over $7,000 in medical funding to Guatemalan leaders. They will provide life-saving and enhancing care through exams, checkups, and supplies like thermometers. Our trainings for the special educators will continue to strengthen. Her reach, her impact on every student will lengthen. It seems that in many ways everything's changed, and it seemed like nothing would ever be the same, but some for the better. Through every email, donation, hour, and letter that Team Hope gives. As for our own community, there's an impact you will see, because when it comes to developing humanitarian leaders, we care. At our service learning programs like Hope Sin Academy, we invite all to fill a chair. No matter what diverse ability you have to make a change, our leadership development and dedication to students are arranged to help make an impact as unique as you are. Today is Hope Sin Style Masquerade, and our tagline is Hope Disguised. You see, the cases of lives impacted by hope are on the rise. Welcome to our 9th annual fashion show. Hope was disguised in the pandemic, but we've uncovered it. It's around us, and now you too know.
Let's give a round of applause for all these amazing students. Remember to go online, find your favorite team, and vote for them. Every vote counts, and 100% of your donation will go towards Hope Sin's mission. To highlight what your donation could do, here are a few examples. $1,000 fully sponsors an at-risk girl in our Florida Laser program, allowing her to gain access to a licensed therapist, medical support, mentorship, and a safe community group. We want to have 20 women in this program by the end of the year. Or if 10 people donate $100, that covers the cost of the special educator we sponsor and train at home for adult women with special needs that we have aged out of the child welfare system in Guatemala. Or $300 will cover a full month of our Hope Sin Academy program for freshmen at the UTS to gain the skills and confidence to change the world. We are so grateful for your support. I'd now like to invite Brescia and Sanjana to share some closing remarks.
My name is Sanjana Shankar, and I am one of the vice presidents of the internship program this year, who helped to put this show on for you all. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone watching this show at home. All of the interns worked so incredibly hard to make this show a success, and we are so excited that all of you decided to take the time to watch it. Despite everything going on in the world right now, it's important to remember that families in Guatemala still need our help, now more than ever.
Yes, Sanjana, now is truly the time where we can make a difference in the lives of many of these families. My name is Brescia Hines, and I am also a vice president of the internship and helped to put on this show for all of you. This year's show was definitely different from past years, but we still hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you to all the incredible models and stylists with their amazing outfits. We could not have done the show without you guys.
A huge thank you to BHS TV and their volunteers who helped us film, edit, and really put this show together for you all at home. This year's show being pre-recorded made some things a bit more challenging, but our BHS TV volunteers met this challenge with dedication and grace.
We also wanted to thank you to our sponsors. Without them, this show would not have been possible. And a big thank you to Courtney and Garrett and all of the other board members of HopesIn. You all truly make this organization a joy to be a part of.
And again, thank you to everyone watching from home. We couldn't have done this without you. And be sure to vote for your favorite team through your donations. All of the outfits were so incredible, but it's up to you guys to pick your favorites. All of the donations will go straight to the families in Guatemala who need it. And now more than ever, they need us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. This event was made possible by the generosity of many. As you look over our impact opportunities, let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Hi, my name is Kevin Willoughby, and I am an event sponsor for HopesIn for the second year. Truly honored to do so because I went on a trip a couple years ago and I got to see firsthand the amazing impact that this organization has for the folks that need it in Guatemala.
Hey, it's Jim Quigley, Barrington Wealth Management. We're happy to celebrate today with HopesIn, all the good things that they're doing with humanitarian development and empowering families in Guatemala. We believe in your cause. We're happy to be a co-sponsor again this year, and we wish you the very best this year. Thank you for everything that you do.